Morning. So we're middle of learning the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. We're middle of 26.
26.
Chaf Vav, yeah. Today the plan is we're going to finish Chavav, finish learning this halakha, and we're going to go to the Rebbe's Haggadah, which is the other packet in front of you, and look at the Chabad custom. So we're discussing yesterday what is the way in which we set up all the items on the Seder plate. Right, you have to have the matzah and the maror so that you recite the Haggadah with the matzah and maror in front of you. You have to have the charoises, the mixture, the dip, to remind us of the mortar. And you have the two cooked items, the egg and the shank bone, as well, to remember the two karbanos, the two offerings in the temple, the Pesach offering and the Chagiga offering. And we have the vegetable that you're going to be dipping for karpas. Yeah. And we said yesterday that the way you set it up is in such a way that the ones that's closest to you is what you use first. So you never pass over a mitzvah, like the talis and tefillin. You put your talis closer to you in your bag because you're going to put it on first. So your Seder plate also has to be set up in order that you're going to, what's closest to you is what you're going to use first. So the closest to you is going to be the vegetable you're dipping because that's the first thing you're going to be using. Then the matzah, that comes next after you recite the Haggadah, then maror, and then at the back, the two cooked foods, because you're not eating them at all, the egg at the Seder, at the meal, which comes after you eat your maror, after your matzah, and the zroya, the shank bone, also never eating, so it goes at the back. This is where we are right now, and that's how we set our Seder to plate. Let's see what else the Shulchan Aruch has to say. The second paragraph, which says V'yesh on Chavav 26. V'yesh, there are those she'ein makpidim, that are not particular, ala charoises, ushnei tafshilin, they're not particular about the charoises, the mixture, and the two cooked foods, the egg and the shank bone, the baits and the zraya, they're not so particular to make sure that they're close by. We have it on our Seder plate, it's right there. We put it at the back of the Seder plate because we're never using it, but it's still there. Others aren't even particular to have them on their Seder plate or near them. Just anywhere on the table.
Normally they took away before you start. Maybe no?
That's a custom.
Custom.
Yeah. We're talking about the halacha. We'll talk about the setup. So some people aren't makbid, they're not particular to have them on the Seder plate, just anywhere on the table. Why? Because these three things, the charoises, which is the mixture, the egg, and the zroya are only there to remember. You're not actually there for eating. They're there to remember. The egg to remember the chagiga, the zroya to remember the korban pesach, and the charoises to remember the mortar. Therefore, lo shayich etzlam ema ve'en al mitzvahs. It's not part of the mitzvahs that you have to engage in, that you have to put them in some order to make sure that you're going to hit them last. They're not to be used at all. They're just to remember. And therefore, some people aren't even concerned about putting them on their Seder plate at all. As long as they're on the table, they serve the remembrance component. Furthermore, the gamal amarer ein makpidim im yu samachloi. These people aren't even particular that the maror should be nearby. As long as it's there on the table, it doesn't have to be right there on the Seder plate. For us, it is. But this is the other custom. The kivan she'ein chav adam, because maror is not something you want. It's not something you're looking forward to. Right? The whole point is that it's bitter. Therefore, and because it's not something you want, therefore, in the laws of which foods to eat based on brachas, it's not in order. So what he means is like this. When you have a bunch of food items in front of you, you have a whole supper set up. So the halacha is, you have to make the bracha on that which you enjoy most first.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you had...
Be happy.
Well, because you're thanking Hashem for the food. So you thank Hashem for that which is most exciting to you. So if you have an apple and an orange, they both are 8s, and you're going to eat them both, but you like apples better. So you have to make the bracha on the apple. So therefore it gets precedent. But the marar, which is not something that you're enjoying, the whole point is bitter. So therefore it's not on the hierarchy of what I enjoy most to get some preferential treatment. And because of that, lachein, therefore, gam kan here too, ein makpidim mitzdarech laver alav, or levarech al yirokes betchila, v'ach kach al matzah, v'ach kach al marar. Therefore, because it's not something he wants, there are those who aren't concerned to make sure it goes in back of the vegetable. Right? The vegetable comes first, the karpas. The marar comes only later. And the matzah only comes, so the order of what you're eating is first karpas, then matzah, then marar. So you said before, you should put it in that order. Your karpas closest to you, your matzah next, and your marar next. Right? That way you're going in order of what you're eating. But he explains, because the marar is not something you want, and therefore, halachically speaking, you don't have to pick it up first to make the bracha first. Therefore, you can put it in front, and it doesn't matter if you pass over it to go to the vegetable, because anyways, by halacha, because you want the vegetable and don't want the marar, you're anyways allowed to skip over the marar to get to the vegetable. Just like you're allowed to skip over the orange to get to the apple, because you like apples first. So likewise, you're allowed to skip over the marar to get to the vegetable first. So these people aren't so concerned to make sure the vegetable is closer to them, and then the matzah, and then the marar. They don't mind having the marar in the front, because it's okay to skip over, because you're allowed to skip over something you don't like to get to something you do like. Okay? Okay, clear?
Yeah, I just don't know why they use romaine lettuce, because it's not.
Okay, it's not this our subject right now. That's not our subject right now. Well, when we get to the marar, we'll get to that, but it's not our subject right now. Now we're just talking about the order. Okay. That's a good question. And when we get there, we'll discuss, the Gemara is going to discuss what qualifies as marar and why they do. So we'll get there. Okay. Continues, and on this, those who have the custom rely on this, for reasons that they have, and this is what we do actually, right? Which is Kabbalah ideas, l'sader kol dvarim elu, to organize all these things, all the different items of the Seder plate, al gabe hamatzes, on top of the matzah. That's how we do it, right? Even though, based on the halacha we learned yesterday, you shouldn't do that. Why? Because we said before, you have to go in order of what you're eating, right? So first karpas, then matzah, then marar. But we don't do that. We have the marar on top of the matzah, which means when we eat matzah before marar, we're skipping over the marar, right? We shouldn't be skipping over a mitzvah. What we do, we skip the marar and go to the matzah, which is under. So why are we doing that? Now we have the answer. You can rely on this opinion which says, because marar is not something that you want, you're allowed to skip over it. Clear? And that's why we set up all these things on top of the matzah. This means to say, after you set up your matzahs inside of your plate or under your plate, right? Kisidron, in order, koyin melamaila, the koyin, right? We have 3 matzahs, one for koyin, Levi, Yisrael. Koyin is the top matzah, Levi tachtov, Levi is the middle matzah, the Yisrael tachtov, and the Yisrael is the lowest matzah. There are those who have the state who have it the other way around, with the koyens on the bottom. But we have it where the Yisrael is on the bottom and the koyens on top. Okay, so Yisrael, Levi, and koyen. So after they have that, the matzahs, which is what we do, then the sabri agabala koyen, you organize on top of the koyen matzah, on top of the top matzah, hazroya, shaltola mimin, the shank bone on the top right, habetza, the egg, mismoil on the left, hamarar, lamata ma'at, kenegdam emtza ke'ein segol, the marar below them, in between, making it like a segol, right? Zroya, betza, marar, right, left, middle. Karpas mismoil, the karpas on the bottom left here. Hamarar shal kricha, the second marar that we're going to be using for the sandwich. Lamatamat keneged emtzoen. I skipped something. Charoises, the mixture of miyamin to the right, karpas to the left. Hamarar shal kricha, the marar of the sandwich in the bottom middle, mat connected, abtum connected, segel sheni, like 2 segels. So that's what we have. We have 2 segels on our Seder plate. This is the Chabad minhag. Others have different custom. They do a circle with one in the middle, but we do 2 segels. So the segel number 1, right? Segel has 3 dots, 1, 2, 3, right? So segel number 1 is zroya, beitza,
How to say it?
and marar in the middle. It's 1, 2, 3. And then charaises, karpas, and the second marar in the bottom middle for the sandwich. So this is the Shulchan Aruch as it talks about setting up the Seder. Yeah, we clear? So let's be very clear about this. One way is go in order of what you are going to be eating. So put your karpas here, marar there, and matzah behind. So you never skip over anything to get to the next thing. But we don't do that. We have the marar on top and the matzah under, which means when we eat matzah before marar, we're skipping over marar and getting under to the matzah. Why are we doing that? So he explains. We do that because of Kabbalistic reasons to set it up that way. But even in halacha, we're allowed to do that because the halacha is you're allowed to skip over a food item you don't like to get to a food item you do like. So it's okay to skip over the marar to get to the matzah. Just like if you had apple and orange in front of you and you liked apple better, you can skip the orange to get to the apple, make a bracha. Clear? So now let's look at the Rebbe's Haggadah, which is this package right here. So we're starting off with this. Top of page Tez Zion. So you see there's a line and there's a few lines and there's a line in the middle, right? That's that like design line here on the top. You see the top is like a design line. 2 lines on top. There's 2 lines of text and then a line with a design. You see it, Alan? Yeah. Okay. So on top of that line, those are the words of the Alter Rebbe in his Siddur. Under the line is the Rebbe's commentary on that. So let's read the 2 lines on top, which is the Alter Rebbe Siddur, which tells us what our custom is. Because we have 2 customs from the Shulchan Aruch. One is to organize it in order of what you do first, and one is to put everything on top of the matzah with these 2 segels. So let's see. Yisader al shulchanai. A person should organize on his plate before Kiddush, even though the Shulchan Aruch says to bring it to you after Kiddush. But we're doing it before Kiddush, as we talked about a few classes ago. Yisader al shulchanai. You should organize on your table, ka'aida, a plate, begimel matzos, with 3 matzos, munochem zel zeh, one lying on top of the other. HaYisrael, first of the bottom, is the Yisrael matzah. Alav on top of that, the middle one, HaLevi, the Levi matzah. Va'alav on top of that, the third one is the Kohen. Va'alav, now on top of the Kohen, liyamin, to the top right, Hazroya, the shank bone, the Kenegdo, Lismoil, HaBetza, opposite the shank bone on the left, top left is the egg. Tachtein be'emtza, and below them, in the middle, is the marar. That's your first segel. Right, zroya, left, beitza, bottom, middle, marar, segel number 1. The tachas hazroya, under the zroya, on the right side, you start a second segel. First with the charosis, bottom right. Kinegdoi tachas beitza, karpas, opposite the charosis, under the karpas, left side of your bottom segel is the karpas, under your egg, I'm sorry. The tachas marar, under the marar, below the other 2, the third segel is the chazeres, sha'osin koirach, the other marar that you use for koirach. Yeah, so we see from the Alter Rebbe, we do the second minhag, the custom based on the Arizal, even though the halacha is you shouldn't skip over mitzvahs, but you're allowed to because the marar is not something you like, so you can skip over the marar to get the matzah, and therefore it's okay to have it all set up on top. Okay, that's the Alter Rebbe's instruction in how to set our Seder plate. Now let's see the Rebbe's commentary, all related to what we learned. We're not going to learn all the commentary here. Let's go to, this part we learned about when we learned the Rebbe's commentary about when to set it up, right? In times of the Gemara, where they brought the table to you, they would bring it to you after Kiddush, but today we don't have big tables to bring to you, so you set it up before Kiddush at your place. We learned that there is a custom from Rabbi Yaakov Emden, writes a custom to set it up before you even go to shul. But from the Alter Rebbe, we learned that you set it up after you come home from shul, but before Kiddush. Okay, we learned that. Now let's go to the next page, which is the next page. Turn the page here. Page Yud Ches, it should say. Yeah, you see Yud Ches? Yeah, we're page Yud Ches now. You see it? Turn the page.
Mm-hmm.
On the page like this. Actually, turn 2 pages to page Yud Ches. Okay, top right. Yeah. Yisader Chulu. You see it? Top right. So Yisrael, Yisader Chulu, Yisrael V'alav Chulu. Okay, the Alter Rebbe told us, we just read it, that a person should set his matzahs up. The lower one is the Yisrael. On top of that is the Levi. On top of that is a Kohen. Okay. Now, so let's see. Etzleinu, for us, the Rebbe is now quoting his father-in-law, the previous Rebbe. The previous Rebbe says like this: Etzleinu for us, Haseder, the order is Yisrael on the bottom, Levi middle, Kohen top. What's the first letters of Yisrael, Levi, Kohen? Yud, Lamed, Chaf. Yud from Yisrael, Lamed from Levi, Chaf from Kohen. Yud, Lamed, Chaf spells the word Yelech, to go. It gets us moving. The Roma is Gamkein, Shukvar Mahalak Bavidosai. Yelech means going, meaning we're already on the road to connecting to Hashem. We're already getting all along in our way in our service of Hashem. We're on the way already. The loy kli, and not the other way around. If you do Kohen first, then Levi, then Yisrael, take the first letter of Kohen, second letter of the first letter of Levi, and the first letter of Yisrael, Kaf, Lamed, Yud, you get the word kli.
Kili.
So
Like
if you go Yisrael, Levi, Kohen, you get Yelech. If you go Kohen, Levi, Yisrael, you get kli. So kli means
recipient.
What's kli means? I'm not started anything. I'm just open. So it says the previous Rebbe, we actually. So the Shulchan Aruch told us when it gave us the order, it said first Kohen on top, then Levi on the bottom, middle, and then Yisrael on the bottom. So go in that order, it's Keli. But here the Alter Rebbe says Yisrael on bottom, Levi on top, Kohen on bottom on top, which is Yelech, go, meaning we're already on the way. We're not Keli, which is the beginning. We're just open. We're already on the way. We're Yelech. We're going. Okay, follow? We're going. So it's Yelech, going. Yud, Yisrael bottom, Levi on top, Lamed, and Kohen on top, Chaf. Yelech, we're going. We're on our way. We're already in the service of Hashem. Then he continues. B'chlal, in general, you should know, hamatzos, the matzah, roimzim lekelim. The matzah symbolizes a keli, right? It's on bottom, and it's shaped even like a keli, right? If you notice, the matzah is not flat; it's bented like that, and it's on purpose like that. It's supposed to be a keli, and when you set your matzahs up, you set them up in such a way that it's facing upward like this, like a keli. And what are you putting on the keli? Mashim menachem ala matzahs. The things you put on the matzah, the marar, the charaisis, the bits, all the 5 things there, roimzim, they are la'odes. They represent the light that goes in the vessel. Those are the 5 things that go on top of the.
But I never saw matzah.
They're all round. Look closely, you'll see. The round matzahs are indented a little bit, not like so high, not like a bowl. But if you look closely, it's not flat. It's bent a bit. It happens naturally. If you put dough into a flat, hot oven, it'll start to bubble up, which means it'll be a little bit bent like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you flip it over and you put it down, it goes bent like this. So you have the matzah as the keli, and then the things you put on top are the light going into the keli, into the vessel. So together, they're on their way. Okay? Therefore, noyegim lakaches matzahs kfuses. It's our custom to take matzahs that are a little bit bent. Base kibble, giving a recipient area. In kliyamiti, that's what a vessel is. A vessel is open to receive. Okay. Now continues the Rebbe. So that was a quote from the previous Rebbe, right? That we have Yelech, Yisrael, Lamed Chaf, Yelech, we're going, we're already on the way, not just Keli, but you should know the matzah is Keli, the items on top are light, and together, Yelech, we're going. Ha'aras ha'malakit. The Rebbe now comments and says, the Siddur ha'arizal, in the Arizal Siddur, it says Yelech, like the previous Rebbe just said, Yud, Lamed Chaf, Yisrael, Levi, Kohen. The Pri Eitz Chaim, but in Pri Eitz Chaim, it says Kli, Kohen, Levi, Yisrael. Right? Now, now, based on what we just said, Shamatzes, Kalim at the matzahs are the vessels, the Sheshes Aminim, and the 6 items on top are Oris, are the light. Yesh Levar, Gamkein, Masherabim, Nischaptu, Lahavan Haseder, Shemim Tzich Mlios, Menochem Ala Matzahs Dafka. Many people are trying to figure out, why do the 6 things have to be on top of the matzah specifically? Right? The Alter Rebbe said in the Shulchan Aruch that Really, you have to do it in order of what comes first. Karpas, maror, matzah. But we say, then the Alter Rebbe said, no, people know that you're supposed to put it on top of the matzah. Why? You end up skipping over the maror to get to the matzah. So why are you putting it on top? Now we have the answer. Because the things on top are the light. The matzah is the keli. And the light has to go on top of the keli, to go into the keli. The light has to go in the vessel. Clear? So there's a little Kabbalah for how we set the Seder plate. There's dafka. Number one, matzah's got to be open like a vessel. The matzahs together are yelech, going. They're on the way of serving Hashem. Yisrael, Levi, Koyim, yelech. And the 6 items have to go on top specifically because it's light, and light goes into the vessel. And together, yelech, it's going. The light and the vessel together. Now, as for the fact that seemingly we're skipping over the maror to get to the matzah, explain the Alter Rebbe in the Shulchan Aruch, not to worry, because the halacha is when you have something you do want and you have something you don't want, you can skip over the thing you don't want to get to the thing you do want. So you can skip over the maror to get to the matzah. It's okay.
That means the family should be all together the same thing.
For sure.
Huh? Otherwise, there will be confusion.
Yeah. Okay, we'll stop over here. And God willing, tomorrow we'll see what the Rebbe says about the 2 cooked items, which we learned yesterday, the egg and the shank bone. We'll see how the Rebbe talks about that. And then we will go back to our Gemara, which is going to take us to the laws of Koirach, the sandwich. Hillel's sandwich. Okay, wonderful day, Eden.
Why do they call it Korach?
We'll get there tomorrow. We'll get there. Now we have to be patient. We're going to get there.
Don't throw away matzah.